Welcome to Invest. We talk about investing, finance, and professional development. As the current time of 1:40 p.m. on the Eastern Time on Saturday, Jan 6. Hope you guys have a good week so far, good weekend. And I cannot believe we're almost 1 week going into 2024 already. And with respect to the overall market, obviously today the equity market is closed, but let's take a look at the crypto market to see how it's going right now. With respect to the overall market, it's kind of trading flat on a sideways fashion right now. So in the equity side, we're gonna be just talk about in a more of a retro perspective going forward. So we can talk about that secondarily. But let's talk about Ethereum right now. Where are we gonna be going right now? Knowing the fact that we've been kind of glued at the $2,245 mark, which is technically translated in a flat number, 2,250, for quite some time. So let's take a look at it, shall we? On a daily, right now, you can see that with the 48 out of 70 on the right side of the spectrum. So in terms of the color coding system that we've been talking about, green, red, yellow, and red, I will give this more of a ranking of a yellowish green. It is kind of in a bullish setup on a daily, which translates that days away, we're going to be oscillating on a sideways fashion. But what is the longer medium term on a more of a weekly perspective, which we'll have to kind of triangulate to understand? So let's take a look at it. On the weekly, you can see that with the 63 out of 70, and also with respect to the dramatic well hump that you see, right? You see this mega curvature with this large separation. It seems like the apex has already been formed. And also it seems like we are squeezing tighter and tighter and tighter. And we could kind of talk about this on the trend line, right here, to kind of depict this more specifically, right? Eventually you're going to get to a point that you're going to get tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter, and then you're going to have to break eventually to a lower level of support, right? Let's draw that right here, right? So eventually, you're going to get to an apex, and obviously the apex is kind of already formed. With the relatively extended level on a weekly, you're going to have to translate to a next level of support, which is, in this case, right, somewhere around 2050 as a first level, which means you have a $200 level down. And then subsequent to that, comparing which is a more of a substantive level, I would say somewhere in 1950 to 1850 is definitely in range or proximity for us to reach on a week's perspective out, right? So on the color coding system, weekly is more of a orangish red, if that makes any sense. And then on the monthly, you can see that we also a little bit extended at the 56 out of 70 on the wrong side of the spectrum, right? The yellow line's above the blue line, and you could see that we're getting tighter and tighter and tighter. So that means you have to eventually correct, also on a monthly perspective. So this is like an orange. So if you kind of mix this all together, orange on the monthly, deep orange or deep red, like reddish orange on a weekly, and then on a daily it's a greenish yellow, is still leaning more towards like a deepish orange colorway, which indicates that the risk is still high for us to be getting in. Selling is logical, but it's not the most ideal level because it's not on the right, on very specific sides of the spectrum. So it's definitely the best to just sit on a sideline and not doing anything at the moment, which is the guidance that the color coding system is giving us. And the Bitcoin side of the equation is also similar. Daily is on the wrong side of the spectrum at 56, so it's a little bit extended compared to Ethereum. So it's like a more of a orange, like a light orange, like a more of a orange mixed with yellow kind of colorway. On a weekly, very extended, 73 out of 70, so deep red, right? Burgundy red. And then on the monthly, you could see that we're also quite red. So red, with orange, a lot more obvious. So selling Bitcoin around the level that we at right now is actually not that illogical. So something to understand, right? And then on the SPY front, you could see that we did close the market on Friday, today's Saturday, up 0.11%, so not really moving much. But the picture that we need to understand is like, where are we going from here with the 55 out of 70? So you could see that we try to curve up, right? We are on the right side of the spectrum, but is that sufficient for us to keep going, right? we could take a look on the, and I'll give this picture in, relatively speaking, a more of a orange, like just like a just orange colorway. And then with respect to the week front, you can see that we're correcting right now. We form an apex at the 64 out of 70, so coming down to a level of support at 51, and then subsequent to that at 40. On a week perspective, knowing the fact that apex has been formed on the week perspective, I'll give this like a deeper orange, right? And then on the monthly, even more elongated at the 61 out of 70. So quite extended on a monthly. So I would say across the spectrum is quite bearish on the equity front, across, on both, the crypto and the equity side. So, watching more of a red Q1 in like a more of a red January, it's not going to be that illogical. So something to be aware of, right? So hopefully this is helpful. Today is a rainy day in New York, so I'm just catching up on work at home. And I want to also obviously catch up with you guys. Hope you find this to be instrumental and also helpful understanding the color coding system, but the way we also analyze the market front in terms of the chart, right? And let me know if you have any questions. And if you want my personal coaching, obviously reach out to me on my Patreon and subscribe to our Patreon. It's only like 50 cents a day if you want to get my specific help and guidance. I'm also happy to provide my coaching on a more of a one-on-one perspective if you find it to be useful. It's like $1 a day. So appreciate you. Have a good day, and I'll check you on the next one. Take care. Bye.